Hi, everyone. This is Cindy Sorley, and with us we have Kristen. And Kristen, I'm scared I'm going to ruin your name. I was going to say Brancaccio.
Really close. It's Brancaccio, but I
Bran-
understand why you pronounced it that way.
So, for those of you that don't know who Kristen is, I've been following Kristen now for some time, watching a lot of her movies, and crazy. You're a writer, you're a director, you're a producer, you've done it all, but now you're directing verticals.
Yes, I am. Yep, I've been directing them now for almost 2 years, and starting this year, I started writing them as well.
And your very first one that you've written and directed
Yep,
was released 2 days ago.
yep, yep. I don't know when this video will go live, but yes,
Yeah, it will probably go up tonight. So if
perfect.
everything works out. But it is Heartstrings and Lies. And I'm telling you, it 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 got me. It got me. And I when you had told me that you were the writer and the director, I said we need to talk about it.
I
Can
appreciate
you
that so much. Your review brought so much joy to me because, we're all working so hard, and so to see somebody just appreciate the details meant a lot. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, can you give us a little background on that story?
Yeah, so Heartstrings and Lies is for drama shorts, and they knew they wanted to do a secret agent vertical, a secret agent show set in the world of classical music. And so I said, I've got some ideas. Let's go for it. And I pitched them my vision for the show, and they loved it. So I went ahead and wrote that script.
It is beautiful. And I have to give you, I asked you, I had never heard of either one of the leads, and you had said that you wanted someone with a musical background. And I know that Kayland was a stage musician for years.
Yeah, so Kaylin plays piano, and I wasn't looking for professional musicians. Katie has played actually violin in middle school, and then Kaylin had experience with piano, and it just gives that extra little realism to the show, and so I was super excited to bring them on board. And their performances were really great. They've both acted in verticals before, just never as the leads. And so
Yeah.
we recognize them, but this was both of their debuts as like the leading role.
I was teasing Kayland last night and today that, you're leading men material now there, Kayland, so be prepared.
Yep, they did an
Because
amazing job.
yeah, and he had a lot to say, wonderful things to say about you also. Um,
Oh, I'm glad.
and Monique said that you were just wonderful to work with. Monique had been following me for some time because I've written reviews with her and everything. And Corbin, I mean, what a cast! What a cast. Now, were you the one that picked this cast?
Yeah. Yeah, so super, super happy to say on this one, the drama shorts supported a lot of my creative decisions, and I mean, just feeling that support from them was truly incredible. I'm so thankful. And yeah, they took my input on everything, including the cast. So casting's really important to me, and I think it's really fun for me to try and it's almost like when you're a kid and you play with your dolls and you're like pulling your dolls, you're like, okay, which doll am I going to play with today? It can kind of sometimes feel like that when you're looking at all these headshots and you figure
Yeah.
out, okay, like who's going to have good chemistry, who's going to be fun to see play off each other. It's like an art form. I have so much respect for casting directors.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, it was beautiful to me. And when you had said that you had a new movie out, because I've seen a number of your movies, I've written reviews for a few of yours. I was telling I had an interview, my first interview, you're my second interview. My first interview was with Mark Cotter. And I
Okay.
just told him, I said, I have to be honest in my reviews, if I have to. And I couldn't find anything wrong with your movie. I mean, there was nothing wrong with that. Um,
Wow. Thank you so much. And you know what? I look to you as like an expert in the space because you've probably watched more verticals than I have, more movies, in this space than I
Yeah.
have. And so when a fan gives a positive review, it really means something because I'm like, I know you've watched a lot of these. You're an expert in this. So, you know,
Yeah. It's hard because I work full time. I own a needlework store. And then in the evenings I watch verticals and in the early morning I watch verticals and I take notes, right? I watch a movie, take notes during it, then I rewatch the movie,
oh
and
wow.
then I do my edit. So I see the movie twice before I do a review, and
Okay.
that's important to me in case I miss something along the way. But there's a lot of movies I don't finish. I'm not big into the bullying, not big into the slapping, the banquet scenes, and I think that's what was so beautiful about yours is you're getting away from that. I mean, in a lot of your movies, if they would just let me name some of your movies that you've had in the past, we'll talk about that down the road. But this movie was so, in its own way, for me, it was cinematic. It didn't feel like a vertical to me at all. And
Yeah, I mean, I think what was really exciting for me and like what I'm trying to do as a writer and a director is figuring out what does it look like to pull the absolute best aspects of like a classic vertical and then the best aspects of maybe a more traditional film that's horizontal film and what happens if you mash those together. And so that's like what I've been working towards.
yeah, and I tell you what, Ian Dooley, as a cinematographer, he got it right. And
Oh,
I did not know until the very end of the movie that Corey Gibbons was a second camera. I had no idea. So I gave
yep.
him a bad time last night. I was like, "You didn't tell me." He goes, "You didn't ask." So he's a little jealous that I'm interviewing you before him, but he'll get over it, like you said.
Yep. He'll live.
Yeah, he'll live. But so many people in the industry like you have reached out to me and said, thank you. And it means a lot to me because you're the ones, yeah, you can get up there and you can act and you can do all this, but you're the ones that tell the story. The directors are the ones that know where this story's got to go. You've got to do all the timing, you got to get the camera work, you got to get the lighting, the makeup, the costumes, all of it.
It's a
And
it's a lot of elements and when we're shooting these in particular, you have to make all those decisions that you make on a normal feature film, but you have to make those decisions 10 times faster. And I think I every single vertical especially, I just get a little bit better about making those decisions because if you can make those decisions really quickly and stand by your decision, it's a really fun exercise. It's very technical and it can be chaotic. Your first two, I try to always warn directors, you're gonna make mistakes. Like I look back at some of the even just a year ago, the verticals I was shooting and I laugh at myself because I'm like, there's decisions I would have made totally different now, but you have to just learn, you
but
know?
it's part of growth.
Yeah.
It's part of growth in all of us.
Yes.
I'm growing out of the needlework industry. I've been doing it for so long,
I mean,
and
that's
it's time.
amazing. Do you have anything I can see? Do you have anything nearby that I can see that you've done?
Yeah, I might have to send you pictures. I don't have
Yeah.
anything in this room,
Okay.
but I will send you pictures. Yeah, I do. I do needlework all the time. I'm working on a Care Bear right now for Cayman Cardiff. He wanted a
Okay.
Care Bear, so I'm working on that. And I don't know if you know what counted cross stitch is, but the patterns on a paper and then the fabric. So the pattern. So this is ironic. This just happened to be sitting here. This is a Cheyenne sampler, but
Okay.
you get your floss and
Yep.
everything, but everything is done on a graph. And then you have to count that onto fabric. So it's not printed on the fabric.
Oh,
So
interesting.
that's
Wow.
why it's counted.
That's so
So
technical.
it is very technical, and that's how I am.
Yep.
So I'm a genealogist, so that's why I write a lot. And so that's why these vertical reviews, really came to me. You
Well,
know,
you're very good at like writing. Like your reviews could absolutely hold up in a newspaper or I'm like someone hired this woman to write reviews. They're so thoughtful. They're so thoughtful and well written.
Well, Kalen said he really liked that it was a review, not a synopsis, but a review. And that's what my goal is on each movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to say, okay, let's let that makeup artist sit out the next one, you know, just depending on who was the costumer on those outfits, or something like that. But I have to do that. I have to be honest with myself, what
Mhm.
bothers me. And but this vertical world has changed my life. I mean, it's amazing. I've only been doing this since the middle of August.
Okay.
And um so can you give us a little bit of how this all started for you?
Yeah. So I actually I started my career on YouTube. This is over 10 years ago. And so if you go way back, I actually one of the ADs I work with a lot found one of my old YouTube videos. So if you check out the channel, it was called Barely Political, and they had a show called The Key of Awesome, which was super well known at the time. And this is like deep YouTube lore. But starting out in YouTube, we were making comedy videos, musical parodies. And so I kind of started out in a space that was like very fast-paced filmmaking and very indie film vibes because you're just using the resources you have. If something doesn't work out, you've got to get the shot in the moment, in the day. So let's just make it work. And I think coming from that background certainly has helped me a lot in the vertical space. But over the years, I continued to work with different YouTube creators. And then I was also working with like major studios, especially on content that was for digital. So having a background in YouTube actually helped me a lot. And I remember the first project I ever produced was Paramount. I don't know if anyone remembers the Terminator Genesis movie was coming out in 2014, and Paramount wanted to promote that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and a bunch of big YouTubers working together, starring in like a scripted miniseries. I was the producer on that, and so we filmed at the YouTube space. We filmed with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then we filmed with a bunch of really big YouTube stars, and that was sort of the first time I saw that my experience as working in YouTube could actually be beneficial in traditional Hollywood. And so that was really cool to realize I had skills that were transferable and kind of was like, oh, maybe I can make a living doing this. And I was on a directing competition show called Project Greenlight,
Mhm.
which you can find the old episodes. It's an old HBO show, and I co-directed and wrote a short film. I actually acted in it as well, and that got us all the way to the final round of this competition show. And that was sort of another experience of taking just, I think we made that short film for $2,000, very low
Oh
budget,
my goodness.
and it sort of the story was engaging. People were really connected to that film and that story, and we ended up on the show with it, and it was just sort of another example of okay, I can take the fast, scrappy, get it done sort of YouTube sensibilities, and still make a career out of this in Hollywood. And there's like a place you can meet in the middle with these two sort of worlds that I'm in, and how did I get into verticals? So one of the projects that I did, so in 2018, I wrote and directed a pilot for the Sci-Fi Network that was adapted from a Wattpad novel. Are you familiar with
Yeah,
Wattpad?
yeah.
So um, the Wattpad story was called Expiration Date, and it was a science fiction story, but it was also a romance. And it's really funny because I actually think it would make a great vertical. It almost feels like sci-fi maybe had the idea for verticals long before they showed up. They were just ahead of the time. So I adapted that concept, and then we shot the pilot. And unfortunately, the show never got made beyond that. But the production designer from that years later heard of this opportunity where this company called Real Short was looking
Oh my.
for romance directors. And I think it was he was talking to one of the producers at a production company, and they knew that they needed those directors, and one thing led to another. I got a phone call, and the first vertical I directed was called Billionaire's Borrowed Bride, and
Oh yeah.
it's for Real Short. Yep,
I didn't realize that was yours.
that
I
was
didn't
my
realize
first
that.
one.
I
And
think there was a time when the names, I remember the quadruplets, Uncle, it's like, let me name these for you people. Let me name these. Um,
well, they're the names that they give these shows are certainly attention grabbing, and
oh
so
yeah.
it never gets people watching.
Yeah, my ex's uncle put quadruplets in me. I'm like, okay. But that's kind of like Mark Cotter had a movie called She's Your Half Detective, So, it's just different names and Swap Away by My Janitor Husband.
Oh
You know,
yeah, that one was fun. I
I
actually
actually love that movie. I loved that movie.
I'm so glad you liked it. Me too. I think that script is so fun,
It
and
was, it
it's
was.
and both those actors did such a great job, Aaron and Eliza. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah, so and you've got baby daddy goals for those of you that don't know. Kristen's done a summer situationship, which was really a fun one.
yeah,
Sleeping with the president. You did the one with the senator's son.
yeah.
And how many verticals have you directed?
So I have directed 16 now. I
Wow.
actually recently had to count because I sort of lost count after like 10. And then recently I went back and was like, okay, actually, how many have I done? They all are not out yet. But yeah, I've directed 16 of them.
Now, do you work with the same I know you don't work with the same platform because I've seen your movies on different platforms.
Yeah.
But do you work with the platforms? Do they hire you to say, "Hey, we need this movie made"? Is that how it
Sometimes.
works?
Yeah, it depends. It depends. So sometimes it's the platform that's reaching out to me directly. Sometimes it's a production company or somebody at a production company who either knows me or was referred to me and they'll reach out.
So, like
But
someone like Snow Story would say, "Hey, Kristen, we want you to work on this project we have as the director," and then they
exactly.
produce it, and then it goes to, Flare Flow or Real Short or somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
Perfect.
whichever client they're working with, which is very similar. I've worked a lot in the commercial and music video world, and it's similar, I think, to how that those operate as well. So a lot of actually companies making these have that background.
Yeah, yeah, that
Mhm.
same type of thing.
Yeah.
So I've been on a number of music video sets, but only on one movie set. A friend of mine, Brandon Clark, is a director for like Up TV and all of those, the romance.
Huh.
So
Yeah.
I spent 7 days with them in Colorado in December of 2022 on set. I was just helping them with everything, and I loved it. I loved the atmosphere. I loved it. So taking it from a regular movie that people see in the movie theater or on TV, you guys are shooting these in 7 to 10 days or 8 to 12 days
Right.
versus months that some of these movies take, or even Hallmark, I know, is 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What, tell me, coming from that background, what's the difference? I mean, how are you just so much faster with everything?
Exactly. Exactly. So what's really been fun is everyone in every department you figure out what can how can I be as efficient as possible, and it's amazing what we can accomplish together when everyone like you got to find that flow. And I think a lot of last year everyone who was making working in the vertical movie space last year was sort of finding that flow. How do we make things faster, because you don't want to cut corners. You still want the final product to be great and fun and exactly what the audience wants. So how do you just get there faster and super efficiently? And also honestly making it like, how do you do that and still have a good time? Because at the end of the day, like, everyone wants to enjoy their jobs. Like, you want to go to the hopefully you want to be enjoy your day at the needlework shop, and
Yeah,
you right? So
yeah.
when we go to work and it happens to be a film set, which as you've been on is awesome, and we love being there, and we don't want it to be stressful, and we want it to be enjoyable and sustainable long term. So
Now, when you're looking at episodes, you're looking at 60, 80 episodes in whatever it is. How many are you filming a day? Episodes.
So it's hard to know exactly episode wise. We determine length of a day by pages. So
Oh.
we're not looking at the episode because one episode might have three locations. You might shoot little pieces of one episode across 3 days or whatever. So it's more page count. And I prefer to be in the 10 to 12 page count day. I think those are that I can do the most creatively. And those, but sometimes we don't get that. I would say the average is in the 12 to 14 page count day. Sometimes you're doing 14 to 16 pages a day. So it depends.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out to you, which I think is important in verticals, the
Yeah.
consistency, the
Hmm.
clothing consistency. Instead of 3 days later and you've filmed it all in one day, there wasn't a change in clothing, and it's like, wait, they were wearing that yesterday, or or, something like that. I think the other thing that's important also is, when you say, oh, you came so late, why are you at my door so late? But it's light outside. I see that in a lot of verticals. And how, okay, so it might be light outside while you're filming, but with your teams that you're using and what you're directing, you're making the atmosphere what it's supposed to be. And the consistency in your movies is incredible.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I really think it comes down to just those are the sort of small details that you can only really think through because it seems so obvious, right? The example you used, I think that's a great example. The character shows up and says, "It's late. Why are you here?" And then you, the audience, are like, "It's light out." But if your day has been so hectic and stressful and you've been behind schedule and things went wrong, and then you're just like, "We just have to get it done. So just say what's in the script." You're not taking the time to think through logically okay, I know it says this in the script, but we're filming this at 3 p.m. So let's change the line, right? I love being able to think about those types of details. And so I think the only reason I'm able to be at the place now as a director is because I've done so many of these with these teams and we've gotten so good now our days are not so insane and hectic and stressful and we can't think about the details because we're just trying to survive, now that we can actually be like, all right, we've got a system, we know what we're doing, everyone is confident, we know how to make this as efficient and quick as possible. Now we can really think through, okay, what's best for the story in this moment? Let's change that line. Instead of saying, you're here so late, what if you mention, why aren't you at work? It's 3 p.m. Why aren't you at work? Right?
Yeah.
Small thing, it just adds to the realism. And I as a director, like, and as a writer, like, I want to be in a place where all of my projects make sense in that way. It's the details. And so, but it's taken a lot of projects, and the early ones sometimes we weren't thinking about the details because we're just trying to get through the day, and that's okay. I tell filmmakers that are new to this, you're not going to get it perfect the first time. You're not going to get it perfect the second time, or maybe even the third time. Just keep going.
Yeah, and that's exactly true. That's exactly true. That's with anything.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
sure with the art that you do, like
yeah.
think about how, when you're first starting out, like
Oh my gosh. I've torn apart so many pieces that I'm finally go, forget it, I'll start over,
yeah.
kind of thing. Because I
Hmm.
work on really, really intricate, stuff. But,
Yeah.
I look at your IMDb and I don't know if it's updated, but you have like 103 credits. I mean, you've been around, you've done everything, you
Yeah,
know?
I've been very fortunate. I've been fully freelance my entire career. And what's cool about that is I like literally every 2 to 3 weeks I've been on a different project. So I've experienced, everything from tiny micro budget, $500 for this whole music video type of project, all the way up to the multi-million dollar commercial, so it's actually very cool. I see how you can make it work with at different budget levels with different resources. I think there's a lot of value in seeing how the really big high end level productions do things, and I'd love to
Yes,
have that
yes.
experience too.
And I think that gives you a new perspective and a different perspective on, what can work and what can't work, in
Yeah,
verticals. So are
absolutely.
you glad you came to verticals?
I am so happy here. I love it. I love getting to, I mean, you know a bit about the industry and it can just be so hard to get a project greenlit and the traditional way of approaching feature films is very arduous and long and lots of changes and I love that we can just greenlight a show and be shooting it a few weeks later. I think that is so cool.
Yeah. Now, since you're a writer, have you written other verticals that have
Yes.
been that have been made?
So I can't talk about all of them. Some of them I've written are animated, so they will be animated. I can't say anything more about that, but that's some projects I'm working on. And then uh yeah, so I'm about the next one I'm about to direct, I also wrote. And then
Oh,
yeah, and then I've got a few more I'm writing. And we'll see if I direct them, hopefully. Sometimes with my schedule, I have to be willing to be flexible and say I really want to direct this because I wrote it, but I understand if you need to hire someone else. But
well, you look so young. I mean, it's so
thank you.
young. And I'm thinking she did a video 10 years ago, did something 10 years ago. I'm thinking, were you in high school at the time?
That's really sweet. I'm 34, so I don't know.
Oh, that's you're
Yeah.
you're right between my boys.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I have a 38-year-old and yeah, surprise, a 23-year-old. I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
married 43 years. but we had an oops baby that's now 23. Oh, he'll be 24 tomorrow. So
Nice. Does
happy
he,
birthday, Thomas.
are your kids creative as well? You're
Oh
very
yeah.
creative.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Both pilots like dad.
Oh, no
Yeah,
way.
yeah, they're both pilots, and one's in aircraft and maintenance school, and the other one's a pilot. But yeah,
Okay.
and I have two grandsons, so and they're
Okay.
very creative. But this is so fun. So I know that heartstrings and lies is very very close to your heart because you wrote it also. But
Yeah.
is there another movie that you did and you finished it and it came out and you're like, wow, I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of projects I've done that I'm really proud of. There's a short film I wrote and directed called Lost and Found, and I was a huge fan of The Walking Dead. Very different from Verticals, but I was a huge fan, and I wanted to make a film that felt like it could have been in the world of The Walking Dead, and so I wrote this short film, and it has 3 million views on YouTube. The fans like embraced it; they absolutely loved it. People thought that it was official, an official film from the creators of The Walking Dead. So, very well received. And I think that is another piece of the puzzle where when I make a project, I love sharing that project and engaging with like other fans. And then that was such a great time of just connecting with other people who also love the world of The Walking Dead. So if you like zombies, I recommend that one. And if you don't like zombies, do not watch it. It is a little bloody. So,
Oh, like, it's hard for me to get through the werewolves one. I'm not
Hmm.
into that kind of stuff. I didn't grow up with that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And
Yep.
so those are a little hard for me. And I'll have an actor reach out and go, "Did you see my werewolf one?" I'm like, "No, but I'll watch any of your others, you
Sure.
know." But how exciting! So I have to tell you, I know you've worked with my favorite actor, Aaron Oberst.
Yeah.
He, The Virgin and the Professor.
Yes, yes, that was for Shorts app. Yeah.
Yeah, with
Great.
Kira Wisely
Great
and
scene.
Aaron. That guy is so intense in his role, but he takes something with him when he goes in and
Yeah.
he just, lives that role. And that's probably how I discovered and said, you know what, this guy we need to tell people how great he is. He's, and so that's what got me writing these reviews was him. And it was Virgin and the Professor was one of my very first reviews I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. That
Yeah.
is so awesome. He's great. And not only is he genuinely just such a fantastic actor, he is so nice, so kind, really a professional, and just like a lovely person. And him and Autumn is also fantastic. Like the two of them together was just
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And then, yes, for those of you that still don't know, Kristen's done so much. Surrender to My Ex's Dad with Adam Hassan. Oh, one of my favorites, Jesse Katz
Oh, yeah, Jesse's great.
and Kylie
Yes.
Larson. Kylie was
Kylie's
fantastic.
great. Another all-star cast, like genuinely from top to bottom. I think if I had to pick a show that I think just was a moment of like a turning point for me as like a creative and as a director in this space where I kind of like, I'm so proud of every show I've done because I'm really just thankful. I
Yeah.
think that one was like a turning point creatively. I feel like I was able to achieve so much creatively. I had the full support from the production side, the crew side, the app side, and then the talent. Like my actors were so prepared. Everyone brought it, and that is one of my favorite ones. I love that show. Surrender to
Surrender
My
to My
Dad.
Ex's Dad.
So fun. I love the humor in it. That script is really, really good.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
fun. Hmm.
It's great. And it's interesting because when I watched my first vertical, I couldn't get used to the repetition of the one screen into the next episode, where it repeated. And I see that a lot of them are getting away from that.
Are you
Um,
talking about like between episodes, like they'll
yeah.
switch on a line and then it comes up and it starts on a line? I see what you mean.
Yeah. So what it does is you're watching it on your iPhone and
Hmm.
you're on episode 25 and it's at the bottom and then you go to 26 and it repeats what was on 25. It's like there's like five or maybe 10 seconds of what was on 25 repeats into 26.
Interesting. Kind of like a glitch, like almost an app glitch or
I thought
intentional.
that's just how verticals were.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. maybe as
Yeah.
like a sort of a way to reorient, like this is what just happened in case you walked away, maybe,
Yeah,
or
I don't know. It's interesting. But
Mm.
and I appreciate credits. Credits on a movie for someone like me that's a reviewer
Oh yeah,
is so big because I've had to ask you who was on this,
right.
because I didn't know that there would be credits on that movie because I spend a lot of time researching who the people are because IMDb doesn't is not updated in most cases.
Yeah,
And
it's a symptom of just the speed at which we make these. And honestly, like I also want every single one of mine to have credits, and I also can't control that. It's like, does our post team have time? How much time did they have to even edit this? So yeah, I appreciate that you're always looking for the credits, and I also love the credits. And I like when I've watched a vertical being able to watch the credits to be like, do I know anyone that made this? So I can reach out to them and say, hey, great job.
yeah, so you watch verticals that are
Yep,
not your own.
yep,
You're a vertical fan. That's awesome. The
yep.
other thing is too is say for example you are given you're called by a production company and they said, "Hey, Kristen, we want you to direct this movie. We have this time frame. We'd like to start this time." How much time after you guys finish a movie? I'm sure it's all based on different how much time it takes to get one out.
Right.
I know there's some that people worked on 2 years ago and they're still not out or haven't, been put out.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of ones that never make it?
It's hard to know. I mean, I would say every show I did directed last year has come out. There's a few this year that still haven't come out, but I don't take that to mean it will never come out. My thought is like, oh, like one example is quadruplets. That didn't come out for a while, so I was so confused. But then it was because Flare Flow was just starting up. I didn't even realize it was for Flare Flow. They might
Oh,
be didn't even have the name of their app yet. So I think sometimes that can happen where they're just making the shows and they're still developing the app. So it just might be a while. So I have full confidence everyone I've directed will come out. So
that's awesome. Well, can you tell us what's going on or soon, or is it all under where we can't say anything? I know you mentioned
oh,
the
I mean,
animated.
yeah, I can't get specific, right? But
Yeah.
I can say that I'm in the middle. I'm almost done with one script that I'll be directing next month, and that'll be for a brand new app. So that's super
Wow.
exciting. They haven't even announced. So I will certainly watch my Instagram, and I'll be posting about that. And then I'm in talks to write another one that I'm actually two more that I'm super excited about. One would be more of a mystery, which would be super fun for me. And then the other is more of like a romantasy. So,
Wow, that would be awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's just, it's got to be so exciting. So do you only film in LA or do you travel?
So I'm super open to travel and I've traveled for other types of jobs. It's just kind of so it's worked out that I've always shot in LA, but very open to traveling. I love to travel in my personal life. I have traveled very extensively. I've done a lot of like distance hikes in Europe. So I'm pretty adventurous and I'm super down. But yeah, so far I've always shot in LA, but
But
maybe that'll change.
Verticals is keeping you busy in all aspects of it,
Oh yeah.
directing, writing,
Mhm.
everything.
Yep.
And so you're just loving the vertical world, the space.
Yeah, it's keeping me interest. It's like it's keeping me mentally sort of on my toes, which is great. I just like trying different things. I mean, like you said, you've seen my IMDb. I'm someone that likes to try everything, jump around from project to project, and I think the thing about verticals, it wasn't a space that no one knew what it was about, and I never thought that I would be like a romance director, but now I've done 16 romances and I'm having so much fun and also discovering new genres I really love within that umbrella. So I just love it.
What's hard for me as a viewer, and I know being in different subscriber chat groups with different actors, is the platforms. There's so
Mhm.
many platforms,
Yeah.
so many. I think
Yep.
if you open up my phone, I think I have 42 platforms on my phone. And,
Wow.
someone will say, "Hey, I've got a movie. Can you
Hmm.
go watch it?" Well, I don't subscribe to Drama Shorts because it's a monthly. They don't offer a yearly. And so I paid $39.99 to watch your movie last night, but then
Oh,
I feel like I've got to go watch all the other movies so I get my money's worth, you
Right.
know? And
Yeah.
so I wish there was a way that they could consolidate and get some of these all into one place. I mean, spending $199 a year per platform, I don't want to save for the coins. I don't want to do all of that. I don't have the patience. I'm not that kind of person. But
Yeah.
it's expensive.
Yeah. I know. Well, you know what it is? It's the early days. So no one knows who the winners will be. I fully expect in the next few years those 42 apps will become 20 apps because some of them will merge, some of them will one will
Yeah.
buy out the other, right? I think I've already started seeing like some apps buying the libraries of like other apps. Is that something you've seen where
Yeah. They're
it'll be
playing them on Kalos is playing on Drama Box and yeah.
exactly, exactly. So I think we'll see more of that. That's not my side of things, so I can't speak to it,
Yeah.
but I would imagine that a lot of people are having that experience. But also it's hard because, these apps are all just like, we want to be the best. We want to, you know, try our hand at this. We're seeing that people are enjoying it. Let's make something. But yeah, as an audience member, yes, it is.
It gets expensive. There's some that I will not renew. I didn't feel like I got my whole value for, but there's
Mhm.
others that have really surprised me, that have become really good. And I think there's a number like Flare Flow. I think they really are listening to their viewers. They're getting away from the tropes, they're getting away from the abuse. And I think as more actors and stuff speak out and say, hey, do I really need to slap her? Or
Right.
and can you change that as a director if you say, okay, here's this movie, the script was given to me?
It depends. It really depends. It's, when I get hired by a client, they are my client. Anyone watching who works with clients, even if it's not in a creative space, it's like I'm working for you. So I want to give you the thing that you've hired me to do. And I'll maybe raise a question or say, hey, could we look at a different approach for this? But sometimes the answer is, hey, we want you to just direct what's on the page. And so I hear you. It's why I like writing because I do get to then, you know, from the ground floor on day one. Because once something's in a script, it can sometimes feel like, oh, it's there and that's the way it has to be, and that's not what we're used to. But if I write something different and get everyone used to like a different approach or a different way that a scene can play out, it's a little easier to navigate and say, hey, I would prefer let's instead of a slap, what if we did this instead? And you're still getting a big moment, but it doesn't have to be the same slap. Um, so yeah, that's why honestly I'm writing them more now and enjoying that.
That's awesome.
Yep.
You and I are going to talk because I have some ideas. But I do want to say, I'm so thankful that you did this. But I have a message from Kayland.
Okay.
He said, Kristen is one of those rare directors that never allows you to rush a moment, but she doesn't allow you to be overindulgent either. She has such a wonderful gift of fine tuning pacing in real time, and it comes off on the screen so obviously when it's all done. She really challenged me as an actor to play things a lot closer to my chest and not overshare in my performance during some crucial moments, which has recently made me feel the difference between supporting energy and leading energy in film.
Well, I think he handled that transition very masterfully, and I really hope this show leads to both him and Katie doing more leading role work. So
Yeah,
very
it's it's a big, I get these messages from actors or directors or producers and they'll say, "Hey, can you watch my show?" They're putting out 10 or 12 a day. No, I can't, And I've
yeah,
been going back, I started really liking Coco's movies, so I went back a few months watching some of his,
yep.
and
He's great. He's great.
oh,
He's someone to watch as a director. Yeah.
him and Casey.
Yep.
Casey is wonderful, and
Absolutely.
I've been talking to Angela at Fairflow,
Okay.
Angela Leo, and I I am the type of person that you guys deserve the credit. Yes, fans go for the actors, but I'm kind of the girl that worked in the industry. I worked for the country group, Shenandoah for a while.
Wow.
And, I knew who to thank, our sound engineers, our lighting guys, those are that show wouldn't go on without them. And the show wouldn't be the same, if you weren't at the helm. And I'll tell you, I am very impressed by you. Very.
So much. That means so much. And I never begrudge the actors getting the attention that they get because they so deserve it, one. And number two, I'm like, I don't think I could handle it. So I absolutely want all the fans to follow the actors and make fan pages and love on them. But it's so nice to hear from people that have a little bit more of an understanding of the industry and who want to, connect with the folks behind the camera too. So
Yeah, so I love some of these young actors. They're
yeah,
they're new, they're young, they don't have a lot of big jobs yet. So
yeah.
I reached out and I run 5 fan pages in
Wow.
addition to doing this for 5 actors. But they're
Wow.
actors that I really like, and I think we're gonna see more of all 5 of them. Mark Cotter, Jack
Okay.
Byram, Matteo Corsaro, he's based in England,
Okay.
Tig Sahana, you
Yep.
know,
He's great.
and JJ Michaels. And so I just reached out to him. I'm not doing any more. I don't have time. I got to watch movies.
Yep.
But it was something that I felt close to my heart. This is something I want to do. And reaching out with you reaching out to me, about this movie, hey, I got a new movie. I was like, okay, I'm going to watch it. And I am so glad I did. In fact, I'm going to rewatch it again tonight. Yeah, it was just beautiful. I want to do a deep dive into the characters. And so, and write about the depth of them a little more. And do, like Kaylin said, a real preview, not a synopsis, but a deep dive. And so I really, really appreciate that, you said, yes, I'll do an interview with you because I think it's a movie that cannot be missed. And yes, it's on Drama Shorts and they don't offer a yearly subscription, but get the weekly for 19.99 or the monthly for 39.99 and then watch all the other movies on there because there's great movies on Drama Shorts. I really wish they had a yearly subscription because I would sign up.
Oh man, keep an eye out. If I have an opportunity to let them know that, I
Yeah,
will, and say that's been fan feedback I've gotten.
I would
There's
definitely buy a yearly.
there's some really great directors directing for drama shorts. Casey's got several films on there, so yeah. I also got the weekly subscription because I'm like I want to support and watch my film and then also watch some others. So
Yeah, exactly. But Kristen, thank you. And I cannot thank you enough for doing this. And man, I wish you all the best. And
you.
Casey and Coco both said, "What, Cindy, you can come out sometime and be on set and see how it's all done,
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool.
So I'm hoping I get to meet you soon. So, but thank you so, so much. Oh, by the way, where are you from? Are you from LA?
New Jersey. Actually, I realized this is my Clinton, New Jersey hat. I grew up in a town right near Clinton.
Really? I used to live in New Jersey.
Oh, whereabouts?
We lived in Murray Hill, Summit, um, that
Okay.
area,
Yep.
right on Highway 80, Highway 92, Watchung, just right
Yep.
above Watchung.
A
So
classic way. I trust you that you're from New Jersey. You explain where you're from based off the highways. So
exactly,
I'll be,
Highway 22. My husband was a pilot, one of the founding pilots of People's Express Airways, so we moved back there.
well,
But
I can't say too much, but the fact that you have family in aviation means you might really enjoy one of my upcoming verticals. So I'll definitely, I have family in aviation as well. So yeah.
oh,
Uh,
we'll talk. We'll
yep, we
talk.
will.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay,
Cindy. Have a
thank
great
you.
evening.
Yeah,
Appreciate
we'll
it.
get this up.
Talk
Thank
soon.
you.
Bye.
Bye.